Make sure they're right. August 28, 1898 in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you come from a ball-playing family?
No.
Dad didn't play ball?
Bunch of house painters.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Where'd your talent first emerge?
Huh?
Where did your talent first emerge? You play in high school or San
No, I went to high school.
Uh-huh.
My father wanted me to be a house painter too, you know.
Okay.
But I wanted to be a ball player.
Uh-huh.
And I only went to about the 5th grade, public school. And I always did contend that I could have went to the 6th grade, but I didn't want to pass the old man, embarrassed. But I was satisfied. I went to work. I had many jobs. And I was with Connie Mack in 1916.
Oh, did you play ball in St. Louis?
Yeah.
The Sandlots there?
St. Louis Screw Company, the old St. Louis Screw Company in the Municipal League. And I played for the Campbell Auto Supply Company. As a matter of fact, I cheated a little bit. It's the only time I ever cheated in baseball. I played it on Saturdays under the name of Cholly Grimm for the St. Louis Screw Company, and on Sundays I played under my own name, Cholly Grimm, for Campbell Auto Supply Company. And that's how I got my start. I was signed by the Philadelphia Athletics in 1916.
They have a scout there?
Ira Thomas, yeah.
Oh, Ira, the old catcher.
Yeah, the old catcher, Connie Mack. So I joined them and played about 3 months there. And that in 1917, as you know, the war, they sent me to Durham, but I never played in Durham. Only played 1 year in the minor leagues, and that Little Rock, Arkansas.
What year was that?
It had to be in 1918. In the fall of 1918, I was sold to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
What happened with your Connie Mack arrangement? Did they let you go?
Yeah, because I was a free agent.
You're pretty young then, too, buddy.
Yeah, I was about 16 or 17 years old.
How'd you like playing with Connie, European?
Oh, he was a great man. He was a great man. As a matter of fact, the 3 months that I spent there, it was quite a baseball education for me. Yeah, he was just a wonderful man. He never called anybody by their first name. That included fellows like Jimmy Dykes and Amos Strunk, who were on that 1916 ball club. I'll call them all son.
You already was old enough to be their father, I guess.
Oh, my, sure. There were a lot of those fellows on that club.
Who was their first baseman then?
Stuffy McGinnis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he give you any tips?
Well, I watched him, but really the man that I followed when I was in St. Louis as a kid was Hal Chase.
Oh, yeah.
He took quite an interest in me.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was my idol.
Called the greatest fielding first
Yes,
baseman
he
in
was.
baseball.
He was great.
He had some other flaws, though.
Yeah, he got into a lot of trouble.
But he could really field.
Yeah, he was a great fielding first baseman, not a bad hitter.
Yeah, he led the league.
But he knew all the fundamentals of the game, and he took a lot of interest in me and around old Robinson Field in Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. And he became my idol. Of course, as I played ball in the National League all my life, why, Babe Ruth was my idol. Because we became real good friends as I got a little older.
How about, well, George's sister was breaking the same.
Oh, yeah, he was a great ball player, but I was established then in the National League. Never saw much of George, only around St. Louis.
Well, how did the Cardinals get you then in 1918?
Well, I just went there in 1918. That was the war year, of course. I went there and just, Branch Rickey was the general manager, and Jack Hendricks was the manager, and I just hung around the ballpark there and didn't get into any games at all. And they're the ones that sent me to Little Rock. And I played 1 year for Little Rock and was sold to the Pirates in the fall of 1918.
They had some scouts looking at you, or just how did that develop?
Oh, yeah, that developed. Bobby Wallace, quite a few scouts.
What did you think of Branch Rickey? Did you get to see or talk
Well,
to him?
as time went on, I admired the man. I thought he was Mr. Baseball. He was a great fundamentalist. And, of course, if you wanted a little money off of him or something, he'd make you cry with all the bad deals that happened to him through his baseball life. But mentally, he was, to me, he was Mr. Baseball. If anybody followed him right on down the line, followed on his line, became a good, smart baseball man.
Who managed the Pirates when you went up there in 19?
Well, they had George Gibson, Hugo Bezdeg, the old, I think, the old football coach, and Bill McKechnie. They had quite a few managers there.
Who did you succeed as first baseman? You moved right in the line?
One of the Grimes boys.
Ray Grimes?
Ray Grimes, yeah.
He was first baseman?
Yeah.
Who else was on that team? Do you remember that team very well?
Well, they had George Whitted, Barnhart,
Wagner was through.
and Max Carey. Hannes Wagner was just going on. I was a good friend of Hannes, he took a liking to me too.
Did they say when rookies first come up, the old timers don't give much help or breaks because they're taking their jobs away?
That's right. Well, fellows like Wagner, they've been at the end of the rope, and all you had to do was listen to them a little bit, and they'd take a liking to you. Of course, it took me a long time to get in the batting cage, because they wouldn't leave you in there in those days. They wouldn't leave you in there at all. You had to do it. As a matter of fact, I have a catching mitt. I caught batting practice in spring training just to have something to do with the ball club.
You went to spring training in 19?
Yeah, Hot Springs, Arkansas.
That must have been a big thrill, was it?
Yeah, that was my first big thrill of baseball.
Did they give you much money that first year?
No, I just got, I think it was somewhere around $2,500 a year.
Well, how were the Pirates that year? How'd they do?
Well, we were right up there once I became our regular first baseman, always in contention. And football players like Carson Bigby, Max Carey, and George Whitted, Cotton Tierney, Waller Schmidt, and they had a good pitching staff, Lee Meadows, Babe Adams. All those old-timers were great pitchers.
When did you start playing the banjo?
Oh, I did that, started that when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, I had a lot of fun all through my baseball career, yeah. I was a relaxed ball player, and when I managed, I relaxed my ball players.
You had a number of combos throughout your career.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, we had as good a band as the old gas house game. I thought we did.
Who were some of them, do you remember?
Well, Barney Freiberger was one of them,
What did he play?
third base.
What instrument?
He played a mandolin. Cliff Heathcote, the old outfielder, he played a guitar. Hack Miller played a guitar, and I played my banjo. And we had a guy at the club had a pretty good voice, and he was a pitcher, Al Carlson.
Oh, Carlson.
Yeah.
Died,
Yeah.
What was this Paderewski story?
Well, that Paderewski story was something we were trained at Paso Robles out in California. I used to, after workout, I used to practice my banjo a little bit. There was a knock at the door one day, and Andy Luxon, our trainer, was right there. Knock came at the door, and it was probably Paderewski's secretary. He knocked on the door, and Andy went to the door, and he said, "There's a gentleman there told me that Mr. Paderewski's upstairs." I didn't know who Paderewski was. He says, "Mr. Paderewski is right above us here in his room, and he's having his afternoon's nap, and asked you to quiet down or else quit playing that banjo." And so I quit, and about a couple of days later, after practice, I was a little tired and lying down, and Paderewski was a great pianist, as you know, and I heard this beautiful flow of music coming out of the window on the second floor. I was living on the first floor, and I called up Andy Lashaw to come down, and I said, "Would you mind going up and knocking on Mr. Paderewski's door and tell him Mr. Cholly Grimm, first baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates, is taking his afternoon's nap, and ask him to quit playing on that piano," which he did. And I finally met the man, and he got quite a kick out of it.
That's a great story. Well, how come how'd you like McKechnie as manager?
Who?
McKechnie, compared to
Bill
Gibson?
McKechnie was a great guy. He, a lot of critics thought he was too Pollyannic, but I followed his way of managing quite a bit. But I like to play for Bill. I played for Bill for quite a while. But the best manager I played for was Joe McCarthy on the Cubs in 1929.
Why would that be?
Well, he was more of a, but he used psychology. And by this time, I became a character like Gabby Hartnett and Hack Wilson, all, and he treated everybody psychologically. He treated each individual the way he should be treated, and that's the way I phrased myself around managing my ball players when I became manager of the Chicago Cubs.
Tell me, during those 20s, while you were with Pittsburgh and then over with the Cubs, did you think you might want to be a manager someday? Or?
Never gave it a thought.
Is that right?
Joe McCarthy made a captain out of me. I took those chores over for him, and it took about, I guess, a year and a half, 2 years. Pardon me, when I caught up with it, I thought I was getting pretty smart myself, but I wasn't looking for anybody's job. And Roger Hornsby took over McCarthy's job after the 1929 World Series. I had no visions at all of managing the Cubs until Hornsby got in trouble with Bill Beck Sr., who was president of the Chicago Cubs at that time. And we lost a tough ball game in Brooklyn, and we went from Brooklyn over to Philadelphia to open up a series. And Bob Lewis, our traveling secretary, came down to my room. He said, "You come on up to my room. Bill Beck wants to have a chat with you." And I went up to the room, waited for his call in Bob Lewis's room, and he asked me if I wanted to manage the club. I said, "Well, what happened to Hornsby?" He says, "We're letting Hornsby go." I said, "Then I'll take the job."
Just out of the blue.
Yeah, just out of the blue. And we went from there. We finished, that was 1944, 1945, yeah. And in 1945, not 45, in 1932, we won the pennant in 1932 and played the Yankees and never won a ball game off of them.
Well, when you took over, the team was in second place,
Oh,
right? So they
yeah.
weren't really that far out of it.
Greatest break a guy ever had in baseball. I had there. I looked at that ball club and everybody was ready. Of course, I was the player and manager, and I stayed that way for some time.
Was it a little awkward being a player and then being elevated above your fellows like that, you know?
No. I was the same Charlie Grimm as I was when I was playing for the other managers. That's one thing I believe that where I was a little successful.
You sure were successful.
I was one of the guys. I didn't change at all.
Maybe it was a strength then because they
I think it was.
Woody English, he was on that team, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He lives about 100 miles from us.
Oh, is that
I
right?
had a couple of real nice interviews with Woody. This is his mother. And that was a great infield.
It was a great infield. They had a good ball club. Of course, that Wilson, you know, and he drove in 190 runs, and I don't think that record will ever be broken. I don't care how much rabbit they put in the ball at all.
That was 1930.
Yeah, he was very fortunate then because he had those guys like Hartnett and Kyler and Stevenson getting on base every time they went to bat. Of course, he had the good bat to drive him in.
How come Wilson had that one really great year, though?
That's all.
Never before or after
Yeah.
they quite matched it. How do you, is there any...
Well, they got, a lot of people said that drink got him, but I don't think it did because he came out that ballpark every day to play. And you can't misjudge a guy for that.
Did you have any trouble managing him?
Not at all. Not at all. No. But he should have lasted. His career should have lasted longer than it did. Because he had the tools. He was just adequate defensively, just an average runner, but he could swing that bat.
What about that 29 World Series?
Well,
Memories?
that was a series of surprises because I don't know where Connie Mack had Howard Emke warming up. He wasn't on the ball field because Grove was warming up. Whether he warmed up or not, I don't know. He didn't throw hard, I'll say that. But he threw a lot of those screwballs up there, and something we were all figuring on hitting against Grove. And when Emke walked out of there, everybody grabbed a bat and said, oh, I want to hit against that guy. Even the bat boy picked up a bat. But he got us.
13 strikes?
Yeah.
That was the
That's
fourth.
the second time around he didn't have it.
That was Connie Mack's genius.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the ball game where they just were red hot when they had that 10-run inning in that one ball game.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
Be out in the field and see those hits.
Third time, Jimmy Fox went around third base. I told him I was going to trip him if he come around again. Got sick and tired of him.
Things happen, I guess. Well, what about the trade to Chicago? How's that?
Well, that was Miranda and Wilbur Cooper and myself went over there for Dick Niehaus, George Grantham, and Vic Aldridge, a right-hand pitcher. And Moranville and Cooper didn't last long, and I just stayed there until the end of my career.
Did you? Of course, you left the team that was going to win the pennant, didn't you?
Yeah. Tony Bush went in there. I didn't play for Tony.
Did this disturb you going to Chicago?
No, I tickled to death.
Just to go to Chicago to go to Pittsburgh? Or?
Yeah, well, I didn't like to. I played regular on the Pittsburgh ball club, but I like Chicago.
Ballpark.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Well, they were the last place ball club, and I figured that I'd have a pretty good chance. Hi.
How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
I noticed here that your home run output dropped off somewhat when you went over to Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's a,
Well, I went over there, and they started pitching out away from me, and I just hit the ball where it was pitched. My power was left center.
it's about 12 or 13.
And I was a pull hitter in Pittsburgh.
That's a pretty long field, though, isn't it? Right field there? Pittsburgh?
No, it's Pittsburgh, yeah.
You really hit the
And
ball.
they had a low fence there, chicken wire in front of it. But I wasn't ever a home run hitter, power hitter. I hit the ball where they pitched, get a ball inside, I'd pull it to right field, and out away from me, I had power in the left center.
Do you have any pitchers you didn't like to bat against?
Yeah, Dutch Ruthers. I didn't have much trouble with any lefty. I played every day, but Dutch Ruther was a menace to me. I had a little foul off of him one day, and he called time. Come in and walked in, and Bill Clem was the umpire, and he said, well, Dutch, what do you want? He said, I don't want to talk to you, Bill. He said, I want to talk to Grimm. And I said, well, what do you want to talk to me for? He said, I just want to let you know that you're going down on the next pitch. He's going to dust me off on the next pitch because I got that foul off him.
Did he?
Yeah? No. He was a good guy. He was a great pitcher, Dutch Ruther.
Just intimidating you a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever get hit in the head by anybody?
Oh, yeah. Carl Hummel hit me one day. Yeah.
Did you go out?
But there was no brush back pitches in those days. When you were dusted off, you were knocked down. And there were some pretty mean guys in the league.
Did you name any?
Well, there
Too
were
many.
quite a few of them. Joe Esker
Oh,
was one, old Joe of the Philadelphia Phillies.
that long game.
Van Lingle Mungo when he got mad, the old Dodger pitcher. Quite a few of them. There was a couple on every pitching
Parma
staff.
ever hit you?
No. He was a little bit too wild to throw at you. He hit you unintentionally. You didn't feel too free up there when he was pitching.
I talked to him one day, and I spent a couple hours with him. He said that he hit 5 batters in the head in his career. And after each time this has happened, they had to take him out of the game. He was no good.
And that was the days before the helmet, of course. And now they call them brushback pitches. They tipped you over.
there any spitballers still pitching when you were?
Yeah, oh yeah. Billy Grimes, Phil Douglas.
Shuffling Phil.
They throw a few now, too. Don't think they don't.
They're illegal then now.
Yeah.
What about Hornsby as a manager?
Well, a lot of ball players didn't get along with him. I got along with him. As long as you were delivering and hustling for him, it didn't make any difference how good you were going or how bad you were going. He wouldn't say anything to you. He was strictly a loner. Never patted anybody on the back, you know what I mean. He expected every ball player. He was very much like Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb expected every ball player that played for him to be as good as he was. Hornsby was very much, as far as hitting was concerned, he expected everybody in his lineup to hit as good as he hit, and that was an impossibility. Nobody could do that, because he was a great right-hand hitter.
Yeah, the real great.
But he strayed completely away. There was no discussions or anything in the clubhouse with any of his ball players. He'd come in, take his uniform off, go to the hotel, and that was it. See him the next day at the ballpark.
They say if he saw anybody with a newspaper in there, he'd take it away from them.
Well, that's right. He didn't allow any smoking in the clubhouse, a newspaper.
It must have been a real change when you took over.
Yeah, it was.
Day.
It was. I turned him loose.
One of the team on the past.
Yeah. I got along fine with Raj.
He loved the ponies, didn't he?
Yeah, to a great extent. I don't know how much whether he won on them or what, but
well, the 32 World Series. Is that fourth straight?
4 straight. Never come close.
What about that called shot by the Babe?
Well, that's the only one guy that was under the gun. Hartnett said he didn't. Of course, he pointed out toward the mound, and he was when he was pointing, he talked to Guy Bush. And Gabby said that Guy Bush was yelling at Ruth, and Ruth stepped out of the batter's box, and he pointed out toward the mound. He says, "You'll be out there tomorrow. See what you can do with me." And
hello, Cholly.
hi. He stepped in the batter's box, and Ruth's next pitch, boom, out of the ballpark. So you let it lay. He was a great man, Ruth was. It was gone and everything, and he just let it lay where it was.
How did you work your pitching rotation? Any particular plan?
I had 4. I had Larry French, Bill Lee, Charlie Root, and then
Sheriff Blake.
Sheriff Blake.
He
Yeah.
lives down near us.
Yeah. And I used my starting pitchers once in a while in the jam, like Bill Lee with the good curveball, or Larry French with the screwball. If I needed a pitcher for an inning, I'd send him down there. Pitching 1 inning didn't stop him in those days, starting pitchers.
Didn't have middle relievers.
They didn't,
Late relievers.
No.
What, 35, was that the year you fellas came?
That's the years we won 21 straight.
That must have been something.
Yeah, they didn't talk about that stuff at all about that ball club. That was a great ball club. Every time they left that clubhouse, boy, I'll tell you, they went out to win.
Cabrera taking over.
Of course, they got every conceivable break, and they made a lot of breaks themselves. But they won on the other club's mistakes. They kick one or a bad throw, boom, they say, there's an opening, let's go through. Bing, and 9 times out of 10 they came through.
They developed some kind of a momentum there.
Yeah,
After they won a few games.
That's right. Yeah, they'd say it just like the newspaper man after we won our 18th straight. We were all up in the clubhouse, and everybody was jubilant, you know what I mean, and everything else, winning 18 straight. And came a knock at the door, and a young sport writer was at the door. Andy Lacho come over to the locker and said, there's a young man, a sports writer there. He's got a pencil on a pad. He said, I'd like to interview. And you're in good humor after you win 18 straight. I said, let him come in and sit down. I even dusted off a chair in front of my locker and everything else. Sit down. And his first question was, well, how's the team going? Well, there was a lull there for a minute, and he was out on the ramp. I couldn't answer the question.
Did you let the reporters in after games? Didn't they?
Oh,
come in
yeah,
those
yeah.
days?
Tour was all. I always figured this, that sports writers were part of the games just as like myself and anybody. But one thing I always did say with my sports writers, or our sports writers, is when I said this was off the record, they believed me. And they did. I never had any trouble. And they never know. All they do is they had the liberty of going around the clubhouse talking to the ball players and whatever they want. In those days.
Ed Burns?
Ed Burns, Irving Vaughn.
How about, who was that fellow, Hugh Fullerton? Was he up there?
Well, no, he was a special assignment man, Hugh Fullerton. I remember him. But I remember Ring Lardner and all those fellas.
You gave him plenty of stories, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Ring Lardner is about the only guy. He used to sit on our bench. He sat on the bench with McGraw, too, while the game was going on.
Huh.
Just sit there and you didn't know, you never hear a peep out of him. Wouldn't go up to the press box some ball game. Just ask you if you could sit down. And he'd run. Next day morning, you'd see the doggone story in the paper. You ever saw any what?
How about the umpires?
Oh, I got along with the umpires. Great shape. Bill Clem, Cy Furman, Bob Emsley, all the old timers. Hank O'Day, Jocko Collins. They were all great umpires. That's when they only had two.
Of course, earlier they only had one in the old days.
Yeah, they're way back.
O'Day was umpiring back in the early days, and they had only one umpire.
Yeah. Well, I got a little before my time, I believe.
Players used to cut second base because the umpire couldn't see everywhere. You know? Now they have 4 and 6 in some of the big games.
Well, the game has changed. The game has changed a lot. I go around sometimes to Kiwanis or Rotary clubs and things like that, and the number one question, I have a question and answer program, and the number one thing is, don't you wish you were in your prime today instead of when you play? Oh, I ask me, well, I say there's too much confusion now. If we had anything, differences to iron out with anybody on the ball club, we'd go upstairs with the club owner. Walk right in the door and lay it on the table. Now newspapermen find out, and everybody, fans find out before anybody else finds out. Ball players are fighting with the manager on the bench, and oh my God, everything's happening.
Tough managing today.
Yeah. Confusion is terrible.
Did E.K. Wrigley take over? Did his father die about that time when you became the manager?
Yeah.
How was he as an owner?
Oh, he was a great man. I think baseball's going to miss him. They don't miss him yet. He hasn't been gone to the great beyond long enough yet. But he did a lot for baseball and a lot of ball players that nobody knows anything about. He was a wonderful man. And all he ever thought about was for the fans. He was interested in fans being comfortable. And the other thing was security for his ball players.
I liked his idea of keeping lights out of Wrigley Field.
Oh, yes. Well,
baseball always seemed like a daytime game.
Yeah. And I think that his boy will follow his footsteps, Bill. He's just like his dad.
Did you ever play any night ball yourself?
No. Man, that's all.
You were in 35 when you won the pennant. That was Cavaretta's first year, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was quite a youthful star, wasn't
He was something. He's the best young ball player that I've seen in my whole career. I mean, just, of course, Mickey Mantle, he came to the American League. I've been in the National League all my life. But the best young ball player that just came out of high school from the very first day. Of course, he spent 1 year in Peoria in the old 3I League. But when he come back, he was ready.
So you benched yourself.
Yeah. He had it all.
Do you need a lot of coaching, or?
I coached at third base, yeah.
Did Cabrera need much?
No. They had a coach at, heck is the name of that high school? Can't think of it now.
Lane Tech?
Lane Tech, yeah. I can't think of his name now, just was going to say his name. But when he took a ball player, a kid, and taught him the fundamentals, when he came into professional baseball, he knew. Cabrera was one of them. What they wanted to do was make a pitcher out of him. And I insisted on a first baseman because he had good hands, a good bat. He had to play every day. He wanted to pitch one day and rest 3 days. Well, he wanted his bat in that ball game.
When you were
a great boy.
He didn't last long as a manager himself.
No, and that's one of the things I think that I was very disappointed. I thought he'd make a good man. But I didn't delve into the thing to find out what was wrong or anything, but they say he just couldn't make contact with the players. He was hot-headed. He was a hot-headed boy. But he belongs in baseball. He's now batting coach for the Mets, you know. Yeah, but a fine boy.
How'd you feel about hanging him up yourself?
Well, I don't think any ball player feels good about that, you know. But after I stayed around in the game, just like I am now, I'm partly in the game. Out here with the instructional league in the fall of the year, and out here with the big club when they train out here.
With the Cubs, are you?
Yeah, but I keep in contact with things going on.
Lou Fonseca's still tied in?
Yeah, he's the batting coach. Doing a great job. But when you first hang him up, that first year,
it's a little empty.
You don't want to stay out of there because they'll soon forget you. Well, I got right back in there.
Well, you hit 296 in 34.
Yeah.
Played about half the season. Who was
I had a bad back.
Did that hasten your exit then, the back?
Yeah, I was one of them in 35. That's why I was so glad to see Cabrera.
Yeah. Who played first base the other part of the year in 34? Do you have?
We had a guy by the name of Tolson from Los Angeles. We had the AAA ball club at Los Angeles. We had quite a few others.
I expect one of the toughest jobs as a manager is in the spring training cut-down time.
Yeah.
You find that a pretty
Yeah.
all these young players?
Especially with the young fellas.
What do you tell them?
Well, you got to sit down with them. It's a tough job. Because once they smell that extra money, that extra meal money, and live in the best of hotels, you know, it's pretty hard to make that approach. But baseball now is a little more refined in the minor leagues, like AAA, ball club, AA, and A. They travel pretty good, and the meal money's good. And all they got to do is keep an incentive up in there. Don't let them get their daubers down, and if I let them fight their way back. There's only one place to play, and that's the major league. And you can always come back up here.
If you hadn't managed, would you have played any minor league ball after your big league days?
Oh, well, age was, you got to
That's
consider
right,
the age.
yeah,
I couldn't have gone there. No.
How about 38? That was the year Gabby took over, wasn't it?
Yeah, he took over in July. That's when my back was really on the bone. That's when I told her. I never was fired, Mr. Leary, never fired.
Is that right?
I went out there on my own steam.
Oh, I see. Did you suggest Gabby?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another disappointment for me.
Is that right?
And Gary is a good manager.
You won the pennant.
Yeah, that was it. I don't know what the hell happened either.
He stayed on for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And then you came back.
Well, I'll tell you, the only advice I can give a young fella is if he wants to recover. Of course, like I say, I was the most fortunate guy in baseball. I know that. But I've seen it happen to so many ball players that stayed right in the major leagues and managed the same ball club they played for and didn't make it. I think a guy's got to go get some experience in the minor leagues. Particularly in these days. You got to know your ball players. And the ones that are coming up are the ones you got to know, too. They just like you down there, they're not just like you up here. Because they're going to be skeptical of you.
But what did you mean? You said you thought you were the luckiest ball player. The fact that
well, I came to a ball club that didn't have a first baseman. Then I was traded over to Chicago that didn't have a first baseman. And played regular right on.
And you took over a team in contention and won.
That's right. So you've got to get those kind of breaks, and you've got to realize how lucky you are.
How about injuries?
I've got a broken finger and a broken leg.
Back,
real good shape.
The back problem was
Hi.
I do.
The back problem was as much as you had in your career?
No, not anymore, no.
So, I mean, during your career, that was the only thing that really got to you? What I'm trying to get at is any injuries during your career, and it doesn't look like you missed until that 35 season.
Yeah, that is the end of it.
Well, that's quite a record of good health.
Yeah.
See some of them out there. Did you play hurt any?
Of course, I'm going to be 80 years old in August. And I figure it's catching up with me a little bit now. It's bleeding ulcer and all this stuff.
What'd you do after you left the Cubs in '38?
Well,
a couple of years. Did you scout?
Yeah, Bill Beck and I own the old Milwaukee Brewers.
Bill Beck Jr. now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we bought
How did
that club.
happen? How'd you get together with him?
Well, through Mr. Wrigley. And we went up there and won a little World Championship. And of course, Bill Beckett, to me, is the world's greatest promoter in baseball. But one thing, with all his promotion, he has a good ball club. And I'll bet my right hand that within a year he's going to have a good ball club there. You have a good ball club there in 1979.
What he did to Cleveland was something I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I was in Cleveland and I shared that feeling that gripped the whole city, as he began to build up interest and the ball club. So you were up. You managed the Milwaukee team for how many years?
Of course, when I went back to the Cubs in '44, went back to the Cubs in '44, and then we won in '45. I had to sell my stock in AAA because you couldn't own stock in a minor league ball club and manage a major league club.
Is that a new rule?
Oh,
They let you do it.
Wow.
They let you do it for. They gave you about a year or so to sell. Is that
Yeah.
right?
That's really.
Well, you took over in '44 when they were in 8th place and they finished 4th.
Yeah.
So what'd you do to them?
Well, in '45, that's a whole bunch of guys, They knew how to play ball.
Was D'Alessandro with him?
Yeah.
Tom?
Jim Down.
I talked to him over in Indianapolis.
Good guy.
He was got a lot of power for a little guy.
Yeah, he could hit a ball.
And then '45, that was
Detroit.
yeah. Did you win by much that year? The team?
Oh, yeah, we went right down the line. I don't know how many.
I just have the one loss record, 98-56.
Yeah.
I don't know who was behind you then.
No. That was a great year in baseball. '45. Relived all those Derringer and all those guys,
They were over with you.
Yeah.
No meetings, they knew what to do.
Oh, I see. What's your biggest thrill?
Well,
Any one incident or game?
I always said it. Going in that gate of a major league ballpark was always a thrill to me. Put that major league uniform on. But playing in the World Series, I think, is the biggest thrill a guy can get. I think that's the biggest thrill. Once you play in the World Series, you want to play in another one.
Then I hit a home run. I hit a home run off of Jack Quinn on the 29th series. That's the ball game we lost when they scored those 10 runs. And found out it didn't count. But that was a thrill to me. I just love. There's just not enough ball players like Pete Rose. Now he'll make a believer out of it. There's no phoniness about what he does. I've seen him play too much. A lot of guys say, he's a showman. Well, sure he's a showman. But that's the way he plays. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. It made Ty Cobb. We say Ty Cobb is brutal. Sure, he had a terrible day. He was alone. Ty Cobb was alone. Nobody he's a mean man. He's this guy here who's got a sense of humor and everything else. This Rose. He's good copy.
He said he would play ball. He loved to play ball so much he'd play for nothing.
Yes, sir.
And he went fell out for $385,000.
Yeah.
They couldn't say that story anymore. What about playing an old Baker ball?
Oh, that was something.
Did you ever get anybody thrown out of first base from right field?
You know, I played ball there all the years I played in the National League. When we played in Baker's ball, I haven't hit that bar of soap yet on that right field fence.
They had a bar of soap there?
Yeah, had a big
Sign?
painted on sign. And I remember one time Jerry Nugent owned the club. Evidently, they just left the gate open or something. There was always something wrong down there. And they had a big sign of that the Phillies use Lifebuoy. Some guy got in there with a paintbrush and said they should because they stink. Jesus, that thing stood out like a sore thumb when the fans come up. And we had a very funny fellow on our ball club, a name of Cotton Tierney. He always said they had a little concession stand there at Baker's Bowl, and they used to have hot dogs on a tray. And a little guy, a punch-drunk fighter, used to go around all around the stand. And he said there was never a fly downtown there. We're all out at Baker's Bowl, following this guy with that tray of hot dogs. There are more funny things happening. That's where Dick Spaulding, an outfielder, the pigeons used to roost in the scoreboard. There,
They had a scoreboard?
Yeah, they had a scoreboard that went up from the ground up on the right center field fence. And the pigeons used to roost. And Fred Luderis, the first baseman, and Carson Bigby hit a line drive. Dick Spaulding was playing center field, and it was a brand new ball. And he hit this brand new ball as a high fly, and Spaulding was running over there for it, and it got in the sun somehow, and it hit the scoreboard, and a pigeon flew out of the damn thing. And he saw that white thing, and he ran after that goddamn pigeon. So help me. And he turned around, went right in the clubhouse, and never played another ball game. Here's the ball laying by the scoreboard. But they scared that pigeon out, and he ran after the pigeon.
Why didn't he play another game? He was embarrassed? Or?
No, he quit when that happened. He quit. Just went right into the clubhouse.
You could throw people out from right field on a ground ball, though.
Huh?
You could throw them out at first from on a ground ball.
Once in a while, yeah. Once Klein did it a lot of times, particularly off pitchers.
That's where Klein hit all his home run.
Yeah, he
Ted
was-
Williams. Well, not Ted, but,
Yeah. Versailles.
yeah.
Did Klein come over to you in 32?
Who?
Klein? Didn't Klein come over to the Cubs in 32?
Yeah.
Didn't his home run output fall way down?
Oh, God, yes. And nobody knew what a terrible defensive ball player he was.
Oh.
Because all he had to do was stand there by that fence and what the hell. Shoot that ball go over the damn thing every time. Or else back up against it and come out and get it. Nobody knew if he could go back or forward on the fly ball or anything else.
You found out.
Yeah.
How about the Polo Grounds? I'm not sure.
Well, that was a lopsided ballpark to me.
You could pop them in the
Yeah.
left field or right field. It's
Yeah.
Chinese home runs. And then in center field, of course.
There's a lot of good ball games going there. And great ball clubs there. Polo Grounds, McGraw.
Do you know McGraw? Did you ever get
Yeah.
What did you think of him as a manager?
Yeah, he was a great manager. He had the reputation of being a rough and tumble guy. He wasn't. He loved his ball players. They knew it, too. Frankie Frisch, Carl Lovell.
Here we are. Where are we? This is Thursday morning, June 15th, 1978. We're on the road to L.A. It's about 6:30 in the morning. We left Phoenix or Mesa, where we spent a couple of days, at 5:15, and had bumper-to-bumper traffic practically all the way out to this Interstate 10, some 40 or 50 miles west of Phoenix. And now we're on the interstate. There's just nothing ahead but vast, endless spaces. So we thought we'd put on the tape the comments from the Thornton Lee interview of yesterday morning, at Lee's house out in Phoenix. We got there about 10 and left about 2. It was a very good interview. It was one interview we almost didn't have because I tried to get Jocko Conlon as my second interview in Phoenix. He was tied up for the next couple of days and unable to see me. So we went to Thornton Lee, who was quite agreeable, and so it turned out to be a very good thing. Now, we arrived there about 10 and scheduled, although it was maybe a little after 10. We didn't have too much trouble finding the house. And we were greeted pleasantly by Thornton Lee and Mrs. Lee. And were ushered into the living room and chatted briefly and set up the recorder. The interview lasted about 2.5 hours. We could have had more on there. But it ran into the lunch hour, and that curtailed things briefly, and I got a little bit more on after the lunch hour when we were looking through the scrapbook. I don't know how well that picked up some of his remarks there because it was some distance from the recorder. Now, what about the house? Outside and in, would you say?
It was a nice house.
Yeah.
You went into a hallway, and then you went into a hallway, and on the right was the living room. On the left was the dining room. And from the dining room as you're standing there. On the left was the kitchen. And the back way went out into another room in the patio. And there was a hallway off the dining room. It led to bedrooms and a huge bath. And then there was another bath off the kitchen. Yeah. They've lived in the house more than 40 years. And they had the bathroom all remodeled. The kitchen is all remodeled with a big freezer and refrigerator.
How old a house would you say it was?
I imagine it was probably new when they got it, around 40, 45 years ago. But it's well kept. All the furniture, and it came from, they got when they were in Chicago from the Chicago Furniture Mart. It's good furniture, good condition. It's a lovely home. It is.
A lot of books around. He does a lot of reading. And a book by Leon Uris in the living room. He's reading, you mentioned.
Yeah. She's trying to get rid of things now. She gives a lot to their daughter-in-law.
Is it a two-story house?
No, one-story house.
Is there much yard behind?
No, it's a small lot, and it's all walled in with big cement block wall, and so they really can't grow much out there. He has grapevines growing on a patio that he built out in the back, and he has a couple of orange trees and a couple of avocado trees, and he has a few tomatoes that probably won't come to much, she said. And then they have a big brick patio attached to the back of the house that he built. And one whole wall, and the wall must be 6 foot high or more, 25, 30 feet long in one place. It's stacked solid with cut wood that he goes out and cuts himself, logs. As I say, it's air-cooled and air-conditioned cold. Refrigerated. Apparently, they have these little fans at the top of the house that bring air in, and then it goes through a refrigeration unit and cools the house, and it's cheaper to run than the air conditioner. They call it refrigeration, refrigerated air. Because I thought it was an air conditioner at first, but it's different. It was quite comfortable when we were there, and all she had was the refrigerated air on.
They do have air conditioning.
But they have air conditioning because the refrigerated air actually works as well, if not better, but it doesn't work in a storm. Apparently they have to shut those fans back there or someplace, whatever it is. And so they use their air conditioning there, but for the most part they just use their refrigerated air, as I understand it. She's a very, very attractive woman. Busy.
That's like Nancy Gunther.
Yeah, she doesn't, no suntan, because she's never out in the sun. And they both come from large families. I mean, at least they both have relatives, brothers and sisters. She has a sister, and one of them has a sister in Yosemite with a beautiful home there. And then she has a sister in San Jacinto. And another relative had just moved to Phoenix or thereabouts, in that general area, because her son was over and had lunch with us. And their son is in Tucson now as a coach.
Don Lee.
He used to coach at Arizona State. He coached in a college for 4 years. All Thornton Lee's family are school teachers. She has a sister still living in Globe, or wherever it was she grew up.
From what I had known and my impressions of Thornton Lee as a ball player, he was a mediocre pitcher with one really good year in 1941. But course, he was with Cleveland in those early years, 30s, and I saw him and read about him. He never realized his great promise. Connie Mack once said he was going to be another lefty pro, but he never quite made it.
She kept talking about him being a star.
But I never got the impression of much of a personality for Lee. Just never had any run-ins with the management or the umpires. Just seemed to be quiet, mind his own business, and not very good news copy. And you just got the impression he was kind of a quiet person who didn't do much or think much. Yet, so that was one reason I wasn't really excited about having an interview with him. It seemed like he wouldn't have much to say. But it quickly became apparent in this interview that here was a very intelligent, perceptive, and articulate man. I couldn't quite get whether he went to 4 years of college at Cal Poly.
Yeah, he did. Finished.
The years he was there then, I didn't quite get that. He must have finished up in 26. And he had been about 20 years old then.
Or maybe he finished up during the winter or
He
something.
may have
because
finished after he started playing ball, but he picked up things very quickly and explained things beautifully.
He had all kinds of letters and that while he was in college. I think he must have been in every sport.
Yeah, I think he's a fourth sportsman.
Because she had all those pictures in one envelope of all that. And he went to a military school before that. Someplace. Or a boys' school is where he went.
In Arizona.
More like a prep school, yeah. Yeah, because they
and
sent...
they went back to Sonoma.
I don't know whether it was their son or not, went to that New Mexico Military Institute. Or a nephew or somebody. But he went to an all-boys school. For a prep school.
I was very impressed by him, and when I explained what I wanted to do and how to do it, why he brought on right away, went right along with it, beautifully tracing the family history, his semi-pro days, his minor league career, and that year 1929 where he was with Globe in the New Mexico State League, or the Arizona-New Mexico League.
Yeah, did he tell you how he got there?
Yeah, he did, but I forgot what he said.
About the, wherever they were playing or whoever they were with, he and I'm sure she said Lefty Gomez were the pitchers.
Tony Freitas.
I thought she said Lefty Gomez. That's what I've got down here. Anyway, there was a doubleheader, and whichever one lost would be sent to Globe to play.
I didn't get that story now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Who would he have been playing for? What team would that have been? He would have been up with then. In spring practice or something.
Yeah, San Francisco Seals.
Okay. But whichever one lost the game would be sent to Globe. And the manager, whoever it was at the time. Why do I want to say Dykes? Well, anyway. I don't know what he'd have done if they had both won. But he said whoever lost would be sent to Globe. And Lee lost 1-0, and the other pitcher won. And so he went to Globe. He was sent down to Globe. And that's where he met her, in Globe. And then they got married.
What did she do? Did she tell you how they met or anything?
No, she just said they met in Globe.
She was from Miami, though, which is a short distance from Globe.
I know, but they consider it Globe, apparently.
Bitter rivalry between the two teams. Towns.
But that's how she met him and how they got married.
They got married that winter after that 29 season.
Yeah.
The Depression struck. Yeah, it's a good account of how the Depression just wrecked that lake. Because all the miners went out of work. They just go to the game and support the team.
Yeah. Okay, Then there's the Monty Stratton story. Now, he had the gun strapped to his leg when it went off and he lost his leg.
Something like that.
All right, well, they were very, very close. In fact, she has pictures of Monty Stratton's wife. And I think he had 2 children then or something. They were both babies. And she has pictures of the children as they grow up, the Stratton kids. But apparently Monty Stratton wanted a gun very badly. And so Lee bought him one and told him how to use it and that. And he went out this day hunting with it strapped on his leg and it went off. And this is how he lost his leg. She said it took Lee quite a while to get over it. It did. And I told you about his wood pile that he chops wood for it. He also makes bread, and they get a lot of stuff, produce from friends, and he cans. And he goes out and has a friend and gets the raisins and makes raisins, and boy, were they good. Best raisins I've ever tasted, big, plump, juicy ones. But they have to be kept refrigerated all the time. And he pickles figs, among other things. And when they were in Cleveland, did he tell you they lived in O'Neill's house?
Yeah.
Because Mrs. O'Neill took the kids to Scranton. And so they were very fortunate in that. And they've kept up with the O'Neill family. I mean, they're still quite close. And then Kennedy. Now, Kennedy is owner of what? Was owner of what?
Kennedy, he's the general manager of the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
Bob Kennedy.
And
He's a teammate of his at the Chicago White Sox.
And that's who he scouts for, right? The Cubs?
Yeah.
All right.
No, he's with the Cardinals.
Always with the Cardinals.
Charlie goes with the Cubs.
Well, it was through Kennedy that she said he got the scouting job because he had always wanted to be a scout and couldn't. And then Kennedy came, they moved to Phoenix. And it was through him they got it because she said they always keep the scouting jobs kind of in the family or for their friends and that. Because they get a salary plus expenses. And the Red Zoner's son is the scout for Cincinnati out there. And he's always coming over to get tips on it. And she said he has that Denny that's up now.
Yeah, John Denny with the Cardinals.
And then he's got 2 or 3 more players in Class A. And they say that he writes the best scouting reports out. And if there's a real hot prospect, they'll call him to go and look at him because he's so good at analyzing
Well, I believe that.
pitchers
though.
and that.
He seems to know his business very
Yeah.
well.
They said he could just
Do
scout.
you have any Kleenex? My eye's watering.
Everything else. And so if it's a real hot prospect, that's what they do because he sends in these scouting reports. And of course, some scouts never find anybody. But he seems to have a talent for spotting them. And their son, Don, is a son who is also a pitcher, just starting out. And his grandpa thinks that they may have the 3rd big league player in the family. That's something. But I think he's only 15. And you got the story of his son, who won Rookie of the Year when he was with the Senators, and then with the Astros, and then with Detroit. He looks just like his father. And then you want to tell about the Monty Kennedy story and the Dutch Rooter?
Yeah. When Lee was with the Giants last year at 47 or so, he had hooked on with the Giants by talking to Mel out. I don't know where they trained out here or what it was, but he dropped out. They pitched a couple of games in exhibition, I guess, and they signed him up. Well, they only stayed after the season and they let him go. But they had a young pitcher, Monty Kennedy, the Giants did, and Lee spent a lot of time working with him out in the bullpen. giving him instructions and firing questions at him, how he would react in certain situations. And Kennedy was very good. He always knew just how to react. He always had the right responses in such a situation. And but then when he got in a game, he forgot everything. It went right out of his head. He didn't know what to do. That's this car here. U-Haul ahead and another car dragging a car. They're just poking along at about 70, so we better go by them. Not really.
I think they're moving.
About 60. There's a U-Haul in front with a small U-Haul behind it. They must be coming west. I don't know where they're from. I forgot what the license was.
Illinois.
Now, as we proceed along the way here, about 7 minutes before 7, bright sunny day. Sun's beginning to burn down already. It's even 7 o'clock. Okay, Kennedy didn't remember much when he got out there. Didn't